What's up, YouTube? It is your girl Ayana, the Crafty Notary, and I'm back with another video. First things first, before we get into the video, I just want to mention that registration for the A to Z loan signing class, that's going to be the new name of it, is well underway. And if you haven't signed up, you need to sign up as soon as possible. The class is going to take place next Thursday on April the 28th. And what can you expect in this class? You can expect to go through the loan signing process from A to Z. So from the very beginning when you get the notification to the very end when you drop the package off to FedEx or UPS and everything in between. Also, you will get a copy of loan documents. Everyone in the class will get a copy of loan documents to have and practice with, as well as you will get a free copy of my loan script and terminology, loan terminology and script. So those are the two freebies in the class. Go to my website to sign up. The class is now $49. That is a price that will be forever into perpetuity. So it will not be done live again. After this, it will be on demand. It won't be done live, so you will not have an opportunity to ask your questions. So if you have questions, if you need instruction, you're ready to get started, make sure you sign up for the class. So that's housekeeping. The next thing I want to talk about is welcoming all of the new subscribers. I greatly appreciate you. I'm glad to have you here. If you are interested in support or mentorship, please check out the link below and get into the Facebook group. I'm on the verge of deciding whether or not to cut the group off at a certain number or to let the group continue to grow and do a mentorship group separately from that. That will be a smaller section of people. But right now the Facebook group is open. And so if you're interested in working with me a little bit more intimately, that is the way to go until the group gets so big that I can't do it. So as the title of this video states, we're talking about the differences between RON and E-Notary. What is RON? R-O-N. RON stands for Remote Online Notary. All right. And then E-Notary is its own separate classification, and it's also known as IPEN or IPEN, in-person electronic notary or notarization. Either way. Okay. But they are not one and the same, and there are some differences. So let's talk about what those differences are. First of all, RON, a remote online notary, must be certified by the state of Florida. So you must be approved, not certified per se, but approved by the state of Florida. The state of Florida keeps a list at sunbiz.org. And if you are not on that list, you are not authorized to perform notaries online. Okay. What is entailed in becoming a remote online notary is that you will have to take an additional course. Course is about $39, I think, with National Notary Association. You also have to do another application to the state of Florida to apply for the RON. That application has to be notarized. So holla at your girl if you need notarization for your application. And you will have to increase your bond to $25,000. So as a regular notary or a loan signing agent notary, the 4-year bond is $7,500. That's typically what it is. That is the minimum. If you want to be a remote online notary, you must have a $25,000 bond. Okay. Bond is not the same as insurance. They're two separate things. They're two separate requirements. We're just talking about your bond. Okay. So you must have that if you want to be a remote online notary. All right. Now, remote online notarization takes place by audio visual communication. So in this case, the signer and you are not in the same place. In the state of Florida, we can notarize anywhere in the world as long as we, the notary, are sitting in the state of Florida. So as long as we are in the state of Florida, our location is in the state of Florida, we can notarize anyone, anywhere in the world, assuming that they have identification, they can be ID'd validly. But as long as they meet that, they can be anywhere in the world as a RON, okay? And we meet by means of audio-visual communication. That is, think Zoom, okay? And some platforms do use Zoom. I just found that out. So, however, you cannot just go and use Zoom as your audio-visual communication. You must use a RON platform because your journal must be maintained by the company that has the platform. So there has to be a written record of that transaction as well as the recorded video, and you cannot do that on your own by just using Zoom. Okay? Next, with a remote online notary, your ID has to be validated via KBA. KBA stands for knowledge-based authentication. So what that means is that when they go on the platform to sign up for a notarization, they are going to likely take a picture of the front and back of their ID. The software will read the ID, read the information off of the ID, tap into their whatever this database is that exists in the world, where they can ask you questions from your credit report. So questions would be like, did you live at this address? Or you owned a vehicle, which vehicle was it? It's multiple choice typically. And the signer will have to pass that KBA in order for their identification to be validated. Now, once you get into the notarization session, the notary is also responsible for validating that ID visually. So we get to look at the picture and the information that was extracted from the ID, and we can verify that we properly identified the signer. It does not depend solely on the KBA information they upload in the beginning. It is our duty always as a notary to properly identify the signer. All right. And those are the main differences, the main things as it relates to RON. So now let's talk about E-Notary. E-Notary is similar in the sense that you will use an electronic signature for the notary and the signer, and you will use an electronic seal. Those are the similarities between RON and E-Notary. But then E-Notary takes place with the signer in your presence. So think iPad or computer and DocuSign, something like that, where you are witnessing the signer put their electronic signature on those documents, and then you are notarizing the documents after that. And so that is via electronic means, but that person is with you in your presence. Next, the ID is validated in person. So just as you would validate an ID for someone where you were physically notarizing a paper document, you would verify their ID for an electronic notarization as well. Again, the signature and the stamp is electronic. So this is a more secure way to notarize documents than paper, because it's there's less of a chance that document can be tampered with, because there's authentication within Adobe Sign or DocuSign or DocVerify that will timestamp, date stamp that actual signature and seal and all that stuff, so it can't be tampered with. So that's the difference between E-Notary and RON. So with RON, the person is not with you, With E-Notary, the person is with you. Now, you do not have to be a RON certified or RON approved notary to perform an e-notary. You just have to be a notary, and you just have to have an electric seal, or electric seal or stamp. And you have to have an electronic signature. So electronic seal and electronic signature, but you do not have to be approved by the state to be an e-notary. Anyone can be an e-notary. I have only heard of one situation where I have been asked about e-notary. I have never performed an e-notary, so I'm not sure how common e-notary is. However, I do know RON is going to be exploding in the coming years. It's a platform, it's a thing that is growing, especially in the state of Florida, because here in the state of Florida, our laws dictate that we can notarize for anyone, anywhere in the world, as long as they can pass the KBA and we can validate their ID. So we are hot commodities for a lot of these platforms now because we can sign anywhere. And for example, in California, I was told that in California, a remote online notary can only do an online notarization for folks that are sitting in California. So both parties have to be in California. They don't have to be in the same location, but they both have to be in the state of California. So that's the beauty of being a Florida RON. So if you are not a Florida RON, you will want to be one coming soon. So, and start getting practice on the on these various platforms. I'll do another video talking about the various platforms and maybe some of their differences or some of their costs, but that's going to take some time for me to research around and kind of formulate that video together. But I will get that video for you guys, as well as I am going to be putting together a RON A to Z course on how to become a RON, and how to move through that entire process. How to move through that entire process and start getting your business built in that capacity. Let's see. I think that's all I got for today. As always, check the description for pertinent information. Get signed up for the mock loan, the loan signing class, A to Z, loan signing, A to Z. One more thing I wanted to tell you guys. So I have made a decision to move the coaching and the courses and the digital content that I am going to be marketing or selling for you guys, or the free content as well that I'm gonna have for you guys, to a separate website. I had a domain hanging out that I wasn't using, so I've decided to move that away from my notary website, so that way when a customer hits my website, they don't have to go all into coaching and all of that stuff. So I'm going to move that. That website will be up and running by the end of this month. I have to wait for the class to take place so that I can link my Zoom and all of that stuff over to the new website. But everything will be ready to go by May 1st. And so I'll be sure to tell you guys about that. Again, I appreciate all of the support that I have been getting from you all. I really, really do. And my one goal is to serve you all and help you build a business that you are proud of, that you want to have, whatever that is. And again, I'm glad to help. Oh, one more thing. I just remember I was on a podcast. So I was featured on the Expressions by Reggie podcast. You can check Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. It just came out this past Thursday. But you can, if I can get a link to it, I will put the link in the description below. But look for Expressions by Reggie podcast. I was a guest on that podcast, my very first one. After being asked over and over again to do a podcast, I never accepted. So this is the first one that I've ever accepted. And I'm glad that I did. So check that out as well. And all right, until the next time, I will see you guys again. Bye-bye.